गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः चिन्मयं व्याप्य सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव वेद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव जय गुरु ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. So where are we in our text, Mark?
We're in, on page 75 by my Kindle.
What's the, can you just give me a prompt for the question or the?
Yeah, the questioner is, the mantra is traditional. Must it be so?
Okay, thank you. So we're still in chapter 22. Just about
Yes,
finished.
that's right.
Okay. Questioner. The mantra is traditional. Must it be so? Maharaj. Since time immemorial, a link was created between certain words and corresponding energies and reinforced by numberless repetitions. It is just like a road to walk on. It is an easy way. Only faith is needed. You trust the road to take you to your destination.
So let's review what we're talking about. We're talking about japa, the repetition of a mantra. And there are levels that we can do it. The grossest form of it is, of course, kirtan, when you're singing in call and response, and you may be dancing and playing cymbals and all that sort of stuff, doing these mantras. A subtler way is doing japa with a mala. You sit in meditation and out loud you repeat your mantra with your mala, your prayer beads. A subtler form of that is to do it silently. Even more subtle is to let go of the mala and just do it in an interior way. Listen carefully. At some point, your mind might be quieter than the mantra. In that case, let go of the mantra. And what he's saying here is these mantras acquire spiritual energies. The parallel I like to use is if you go, for example, to Europe, and you go into a Gothic cathedral that's 1,000 years old, where people have prayed, millions of people for 1,000 years. You can feel the vibration. Anesthetically, you go to a brand new church, no energy. So, of course, you can use a prayer word. You can use love. You can use peace. If you're a Christian, you can use Jesus. You can use Yahweh. But in India, these mantras are going back to time immemorial, and they have acquired energy. So we tune into that energy when we use them. Any thoughts on this? Next verse. Next. Going on.
Questioner. In Europe, there is no tradition of a mantra, except in some contemplative orders. Of what use is it to a modern young Westerner? Maharaj, none, unless he is very much attracted. For him, the right procedure is to adhere to the thought that he is the ground of all knowledge, the immutable and perennial awareness of all that happens to the senses and the mind.
So let's stop there. So in the Western world, there's a marvelous little book called The Cloud of Unknowing. It's written by a 14th century English monk. It's written in the same language as Chaucer, Middle English. And the author of The Cloud recommends using a prayer word, what I just talked about. In modern times in Christianity, you have these contemplative prayer traditions. Most of them are based on the cloud. You have people like Thomas Keating or Martin Laird. In the Eastern Orthodox tradition, you have a whole system that's similar to japa, based on what they call the Jesus prayer of the heart. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me. And it's traditionally done in the vernacular, in your own language, not in Greek, which is the language that it originated in. So those are Western forms of japa. Also in the West, you've got the repetition of the rosary. Same kind of process. Rosary is a lot longer than a single word or phrase. But here, what Maharaj is saying is stay with the idea, koham, who am. Now, if you're attracted to the East and you've been given a mantra, knock yourself out. Any thoughts on this before we go on? Next verse.
If he keeps it in mind and all the time, aware and alert, he is bound to break the bonds of non-awareness and emerge into pure life, light, and love. The idea, I am the witness only, will purify the body and the mind and open the eye of wisdom. Then man goes beyond illusion and his heart is free of all desires. Just like ice turns to water and water to vapor and vapor dissolves in air and disappears in space, so does the body dissolve into pure awareness, Chidakash, then into pure being, Paramakash, which is beyond all existence and non-existence. Questioner, the realized man eats, drinks, and sleeps. What makes him do so? Maharaj, the same power that moves the universe moves him too. Questioner, all are moved by the same power. What is the difference? Maharaj, this only. The realized man knows what others merely hear, but don't experience. Intellectually, they may seem convinced, but in action, they betray their bondage, while the realized man is always right.
Yes. So both bondage and liberation occur to the mind. What's the difference between the bank robber and the saint, their minds. Both are impelled by the force of the past qualities of mind. The self in them is the same. What's the difference? The fool whose mind is covered by ignorance thinks he's a person. A person, the body plus the personality. The Jivan Mukta, the liberated one, knows through direct experience. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahma. Listen carefully. His knowledge is not, I'm an enlightened person. No, I am Brahma. Now, what Maharaj is talking about here, the false self, the phony self, the ego sense, is like a shadow. So if you shine a light on a shadow, it disappears because it's not a real thing. If you shine the light of inquiry, of awareness on the false self, it falls. So here's what he's saying: introvert that attentive faculty. Koham, who am I? Who's aware of the body, aware of the prana, aware of the feelings, aware of the thoughts, aware of the rising and the falling of the ego. The space between my thoughts. Who knows the thoughts and the space between the thoughts? Then you have the direct experience. There's no person there. Going on.
Questioner. Everybody says, I am. The realized man too says, I am. Where is the difference? Maharaj, the difference is in the meaning attached to the words, I am. With the realized man, the experience, I am the world is mine, is supremely valid, he thinks. He thinks, feels, and acts integrally and in unity with all that lives. He may not even know the theory and practice of self-realization and be born and bred free of religious and metaphysical notions, but there will not be the least flaw in his understanding and compassion. Questioner.
So we have saints who have virtually no veil. So the one I'm thinking of is Amaji, the hugging saint. So she did not seem to have a veil of ignorance from early childhood. She knew the supreme reality without study of scriptures, without a guru. So it does happen. The rest of us, the middling intellects or dull intellects, we are assisted by study of the scripture and contact with a teacher. But the result is the same. What is the experience of the person of steady wisdom? I like to use the expression, they're out of control. There's no longer a censor. They're saying, should I do this? Should I do that? Etc. They have complete trust in the intuition, complete confidence that the universe is unfolding as it should. Any thoughts? Did Aditi join online?
No.
All right, going on.
Questioner, I may come across a beggar, naked and hungry, and ask him, "Who are you?" And he may answer, "I am the Supreme Self." Well, I say, since you are the Supreme, change your present state. What will he do? Maharaj, he will ask you, which state? What is there that needs changing? What is wrong with me? Questioner, why should he answer so? Maharaj, because he is no longer bound by appearances. He does not identify himself with the name and the shape. He uses memory, but memory cannot use him. Questioner, is not all knowledge based on memory? Maharaj, lower knowledge, yes. Higher knowledge, knowledge of reality, is inherent in man's true nature.
Yes. So, how do you know you are you? The world is known through the triple factor. Knower, knowing, and known. I, Jim, through seeing, know the table. But you do not see, hear, taste, touch, or smell the self. You do not emote the self. You do not think the self, although you can have ideas about the self. Yet you are Swayambhu, you are self-evident. And that's a constant eternal experience. It's not rooted in memory. It's not something you're taught. And even the person in ignorance has it. But on top of that is superimposed all the nonsense of the ego. Any thoughts on this? Going on.
Questioner, can I say that I am not what I am conscious of, nor am I consciousness itself? As long as, Maharaj, as long as you are a seeker, better cling to the ideas that you are pure consciousness, free from all content. To go beyond consciousness is the supreme state.
Understand consciousness here. He's using the word Chaitanya, which are formations in mind. So stay with the thought. I am pure awareness. I am consciousness. For the Stita Prajna, the person of steady wisdom, even that is gone. For example, you do not need to remind yourself all the time that you have a human body. You never doubt it. You may look in the mirror in the morning when you get out of the shower and say, oh, getting fat, or I'm starting to sag, or wrinkles, or oh, aren't I handsome or beautiful? Those are moments when you think about the body, but those don't create your body. They don't even create your experience of the body. So also for the person of steady wisdom, their constant experience is Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. When you are not you, takes no thought, takes no memory. Going on.
Questioner, the desire for realization, does it originate in consciousness or beyond? Maharaj, In consciousness, of course, all desire is born from memory and is within the realm of consciousness. What is beyond is clear of all striving. The very desire to go beyond consciousness is still in consciousness. Questioner, is there any trace or imprint of the beyond on consciousness? Maharaj, no, there cannot be. Questioner, then what is the link between the two? How can a passage be found between two states which have nothing in common? Is not pure awareness the link between the two? Maharaj, even pure awareness is a form of consciousness. Questioner, then what is beyond? Emptiness? Maharaj, emptiness again refers only to consciousness. Fullness and emptiness are relative terms. The real is really beyond not in relation to consciousness, but beyond all relations of whatever kind.
So what he's saying here simply is words fall short. But it is not unknowable. It is avyapadesham. It's untalkaboutable, but it's not unknowable. It's myself. And when we have words like beyond, the mind then posits, oh, it's someplace up there, out there, in a different state. I gotta go here, gotta go there. And the truth is, the self is so immanent. It's so here, it so pervades everything. It's not far away. Its very eminence, its very constancy is what makes the mind miss it. Going on.
The difficulty comes with the word state. The real is not a state of something else. It is not a state of mind or consciousness or psyche, nor is it something that has a beginning and an end, being and not being. All opposites are contained in it, but it is not the play of opposites. You must not take it to be the end of a transition. It is itself. And after the consciousness as such is no more, it is itself after the consciousness as such is no more. Then words I am man or I am God have no meaning. Only in silence and in darkness can it be heard and seen. That's the end of the chapter.
All right, going on.
No, I was going to just ask or say, in meditation, getting to like thoughts, dropping thoughts, and then getting to where I then say, oh, there it is. That's still me as the observer. That's still the mind. And that has to be dropped. Is that what it's saying?
Well, it is like in the morning when you take your shower and you look into the mirror and the mirror is foggy and you can't see your reflection. So what do? You turn on the fan or open the door, and then the mist on the mirror fades away. Oh, there's the reflection of my face. So it's always there. There was just something that was obscuring its apprehension. In fact, the image in the mirror has nothing to do with your face. It's always just there. So the insight in the mind, oh yes, there's that nothingness. It isn't attained or achieved. It's recognized. It's realized. Again, words fall short. But don't make it a big deal. In the end, it's unfigureoutable. But the aha, the recognition, technical term is pratyabhijnanam. Oh, there's nobody there. Wonder of wonders. Ah, yes. Where does that go in deep sleep? Gone. But you've not gone. And when you're not thinking about yourself, you're making breakfast or you're cleaning the house. Do you disappear?
No. Well, that's a good question. I don't I'm there, but I'm not. My mind is active, so I'm doing other things.
Yeah. Your mind isn't real.
My body's doing stuff. Yeah.
And even the deep inside, I am Brahman. That's in the mind. That's not yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, why is this important though? Well, the only problem is in my mind. If, as I move through the day, rather than just not being mindful that I am Brahman, instead, I think I'm a person and I have to get better or resist or defend or protect or attack, then I'm going to suffer. Now, my suffering doesn't affect the self, it's just a mind state, but it's a painful one. So, this deep, profound insight that I am Brahman, that's what heals the mind, which is where the problem is. I have a friend, an AA sponsee, and he has a master's degree in Buddhist studies. Haven't done him a whole lot of good. But he keeps watching me. I can feel it. I don't say, aren't you ever depressed, Jim? No. He doesn't see me reacting to the world as he reacts to the world, with attachment and aversion. He wonders what's going on with this fellow. But he's seeing what happens to the mind when it's shot through with the knowledge of the self. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Changes everything. Any questions out there in Zoom land? All right, next chapter.
Chapter 23. Discrimination leads to detachment. Maharaj, you are all drenched, for it is raining hard. In my world, it is always fine weather. There is no night or day, no heat or cold, no worries, beset me there, nor regrets. My mind is free of thoughts, for there are no desires to slave over. Questioner, are there two worlds? Maharaj, your world is transient, changeful. My world is perfect, changeless. You can tell me what you like about your world. I shall listen carefully, even with interest, yet not for a moment shall I forget that all that your world is not, that you are dreaming. Question.
Yes. So the idea is Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Brahman alone is real. The phenomenal world, though seen, is illusion. So the mind of the person of steady wisdom does not get upset. It's like going to a movie. You can watch, I don't know what movies are out now, but it can be a romantic comedy, or it can be a action film with cars blowing up and people getting shot. Nobody grieves the murder of the villain because it's not real. So the mind of the Sthita Prajna is just steady. There are no thoughts in the self. I go nowhere. I have no thoughts. Doesn't mean at the level of the equipment. You don't walk from the kitchen to the living room. You don't think about what you're going to fix for him. It's a paradox going on.
Questioner, what distinguishes your world from mine? Maharaj, my world has no characteristics by which it can be identified. You can say nothing about it. I am my world. My world is myself. It is complete and perfect. Every impression is erased, every experience rejected. I need nothing, not even myself. For myself, I cannot lose. Questioner, not even God? Maharaj, all these ideas and distinctions exist in your world. In mine, there is nothing of the kind. My world is single and very simple. Questioner, what happens there? Maharaj, whatever happens in your world, only there it has validity and evokes response. In my world, nothing happens. Questioner, the very fact of your experiencing of your own world implies duality inherent in all experience. Maharaj, verbally, yes, but your words do not reach me. Mine is a non-verbal world. In your world, the unspoken has no existence. In mine, the words and their content have no being. In your world, nothing stays. In mine, nothing changes. My world is real, while yours is made of dreams.
Any thoughts on this? So for the person in ignorance, seeing is believing. Stuff happens and it affects me or affects the people I love or the people I hate. And therefore I have to be upset. Second chapter of Gita, what is day for the yogi is night for the world. What is day for the world is night for the yogi. Ordinary person has no idea what's really real. And for the Sthita Prajna, they have no concern ultimately for the unreal. You can talk about it with people. I was texting with a friend who I think bought a whole lot of stock when the stock market was down earlier. And I said, I hope you made a lot of money. Congratulations. Oh, yeah. But for this Sthita Prajna, there's no stock market. I do not rise or fall. I do not change. And the picture show that passes in front of me is always changing. It's like a kaleidoscope. Seen, but not real. Going on.
Questioner, yet we are talking. Maharaj, the talk is in your world. In mine, there is eternal silence. My silence sings. My emptiness is full. I lack nothing. You cannot know my world until you are there. Questioner, it seems as if you alone are in your world. Maharaj, how can you say alone or not alone when words do not apply? Of course I am alone, for I am all.
Yes. So the self in me is not like the self in you. The self in me is the self in you. So when the scriptures use words like kevala, kaivalya, aloneness, does it mean you live on a cave high on a mountain? It means there's only one of us here. Just like you, at the level of your individuality, are all the characters in your dream. There are no real other people in your dream. It's all your one mind appearing as multiplicity. So also with all of them. Next verse. We're going on.
Questioner, are you ever coming into our world? Maharaj, what is coming and going to me? These again are words. I am. Whence am I to come from and where to go?
So, Krishna first says, all this is strung on me like gems on a thread, Mani Sutra. Gives us the idea God is in everybody. But that's a partial understanding. When we get to the 9th chapter, he says, well, actually, I lied. I am not in them. They are in me. And in fact, they're not really in me. Again, you are the God of your dream. You go to the dream state. You are not in the dream. Do you incarnate into the dream? No. Although it can feel like it. But every element of the dream is in your mind. And it's not even really in your mind. If I dream I'm out sailing on the bay, I don't wake up soaking wet with a life preserver next to me. None of those elements were really in me. So, for the Stita Prajna, he does not worry. Everybody's okay. Seen. Going on.
I just had a question about
Yes.
dream. I was just thinking, I think it's in my mind, I mean, I don't know. What I was just thinking, in listening to you, I thought, when I'm asleep and I'm dreaming, I don't really know where I am. I mean, I don't know that that's in my mind. I don't really know where that is. When I wake up, I remember it and I'm assuming it's in my mind, but I don't really know where that all occurred.
Because you have first mini Maya, I call it. You have Avarana Shakti, veiling power, called deep sleep. You can say that deep sleep is the non-apprehension of yourself as the waker. Then when the mind projects the dreamer thinks it's real. You only know it's imagination in the morning when you wake up.
Uh-huh.
Oh, what a vivid dream. Now, we look at texts like Yoga Vasishta, and we have all these stories where, was it a dream or did it really happen?
Yeah.
The story of Lavana, where, the Mayavi spins the peacock feathers and he goes into a trance and his eyes are staring at his experience as a horse comes and he goes into this village and he lives as a Chandala, an outcast for 60 years. Then there's a famine and he jumps on the funeral pyre. And then all of a sudden there he is, the king, back in his palace. Whoa, that was weird. Then he goes out and he meets this old lady and says, oh, I'm so unhappy. There was a guy who was here and he was a king who became an outcast, a tribal man, and then there was a famine. Wait a minute, did it really happen? So the idea is, even her ideas of trying to make the dream state discrete from the waking state. All of it is mine. And what's cool is physics is getting close to this. I was looking at one thing, it might have been Neil deGrasse Tyson or some other physicist. So if you got on a spaceship that was headed to Alpha Centauri and it was approaching the speed of light, let's say it took 100 years to get there, and then 100 years to come back, 200 years will have passed on the spaceship, but 1,000,000 years would have passed on Earth. Because time is not constant. Mind-boggling. So the shorthand form, I call it the Cliff Notes version. If you can see it, it's imagination. And cause and effect is just another idea. A useful one for most of our worldly interactions. Don't take it as absolute. Is that useful?
Yes, thank you.
Going on.
Questioner, of what use is your world to me? Maharaj, you should consider more closely your own world. examine it critically, and suddenly one day you will find yourself in mine. Questioner,
So the key is vichara, investigation. Investigate yourself. Investigate this world. And you will find that they will disappear. Something will remain. It's very real. Going on.
questioner, what do we gain? What do we gain by it? Maharaj, you gain nothing. You leave behind what is not your own and find what you have never lost, your own being. Questioner, who is the ruler of your world? Maharaj, there are no ruler and ruled here. There is no duality, whatever. You are merely projecting your own ideas. Your scriptures and your gods have no meaning here. Questioner, still you have a name and shape, display consciousness and activity. Maharaj, in your world I appear so. In mine I have being only, nothing else. You people are rich with your ideas of possession, of quantity and quality. I am completely without ideas. Questioner, in my world there is disturbance, distress, and despair. You seem to be living on some hidden income, while I'm a slave for a living. Maharaj, do as you please. You are free to leave your world for mine. Questioner, how is the crossing done? Maharaj, see your world as it is, not as you imagine it to be. Discrimination will lead to detachment. Detachment will ensure right action. Right action will build the inner bridge to your real being. Action is a proof of earnestness. Do what you are told diligently and faithfully, and all obstacles will dissolve.
So this is the bridge between being a pandit, which is a scholar, and a yogi or a mumukshu, seeker after liberation. So I have people who come, they get high when they come to class, study a scripture. Do you meditate? No. I think about meditating, but I don't meditate. Do you practice any discrimination, detachment during the day? Oh no, I'm too busy with work. So their actions betray their real intentions, their sincerity. Now, in a sense, they can do no other. That's the pressure of vasana. How does St. Paul say it? I do not do that which I would do, and I do that which I hate. Therefore, it is not I that do it, but sin that is lodged in my limbs. His word for vasana was sin. So I can have all the good intentions in the world, but I can't do what I really commit to doing. And I end up doing what I've told myself I'm going to stop doing. Why? Vasana pressure. No blame. Step back. We may not be ready for Maharaj's teaching. What we may need to do is be humble enough to be a karma yogi. Act in the world. How? According to your vasanas, your inherently proclivities. But endeavor to shift the whole thing. not for my needs and my achievements and my ambition, but in the spirit of service, the yajna spirit, renouncing our attachment to the fruits of action. All we get in life is work, never its fruits. Then ultimately letting go of our identification with the sense of agency. There's no person there. It's all just the force of the past and the qualities of the mind. This exhausts vasana without creating new ones. Then if you do karma yoga for a time, you get the chitta shuddhi, the purity of mind. You get to turn in. Then you can start to practice what Maharaj is teaching. Going on.
Questioner, are you happy? Maharaj, in your world, I would be most miserable. To wake up, to eat, to talk, to sleep again. What a bother. Questioner, so do you not want to live even? Do you not want to live even? Maharaj, to live, to die, what meaningless words are these? When you see me alive, I am dead. When you think me dead, I am alive. How muddled up you are. Questioner, how indifferent you are. In the sorrows of our world are as nothing to you. Maharaj, I am quite conscious of your troubles. Questioner, then what are you doing about them? Maharaj, there is nothing I need doing. They come and go. Questioner, do they go by the very act of your giving them attention? Maharaj, yes, the difficulty may be physical, emotional, or mental, but it is always individual. Large-scale calamities are the sum of numberless individual destinies and take time to settle. But death is never a calamity? Questioner, even when a man is killed? Maharaj, the calamity is of the killer. Questioner, still it seems there are two worlds, mine and yours. Questioner, Maharaj, mine is real, yours is of the mind. Questioner, imagine a rock and a hole in the rock and a frog in the hole. The frog may spend its life in perfect bliss, undistracted, undisturbed. Outside the rock, the world goes on. If the frog in the hole were told about the world outside, he would say, there is no such thing. My world is of peace and bliss. Your world is a world of structure only. It has no existence. Is it the same with you? When you tell us that our world simply does not exist, there is no common ground for discussion. Or take another example. I go to a doctor and complain of stomach ache. He examines me and says, you are all right. But it pains, I say. Your pain is mental, he asserts. I say, it does not help me to know that my pain is mental. You are a doctor. Cure me of my pain. If you cannot cure me, you are not my doctor. Maharaj, quite right. Questioner, you have built the railroad, but for lack of a bridge, no train can pass. Build the bridge. Maharaj, there is no need of a bridge. Questioner, there must be some link between your world and mine. Maharaj, there is no need of a link between a real world and an imaginary world, for there cannot be any.
So let me stop there. The thing is, I don't need to get to perfection. What I need to do is get rid of stupid ideas. That's the problem. The image that I've been kind of playing with, it's like the person who's anorexic. And she's skeletal, but she thinks she's fat. So she thinks she must lose weight. She starves herself even more. But that's not her problem. She's misidentified the problem. She's crazy. She has a misapprehension of that relative reality of her body. She has, I think it's called dysphoria or dysmorphia. When she comes to see what she really looks like, she starts to eat a balanced diet, even though it seems strange. Then her health returns. But if she thinks the problem is she's fat and tries to solve that problem, there's no hope. Likewise, as the Hebrew psalmist says, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. All you have to do is go out into nature. Pay attention. We see the beauty of what's really here. It's a cosmos, not a chaos. And in the realm of human activity, all we have is the various qualities of people's minds, the actions they take. The ground of being is never touched. Okay. Now, one of my favorite stories talking about Maharaj, is he doing anything for our miserable, suffering world? In the Christian scripture, there's one of my favorite stories. Jesus and the disciples are walking along the road, and a woman with an issue of blood, she had a chronic hemorrhage, comes up behind him and touches his robe. And he stops and turns and says, "Who has touched me?" For he had felt power go out of him. She was healed. What I love about the story, it's so clear that Jesus as a person did nothing. But he was so empty that he was a perfect transparency of God. Swamiji used to say, "My love is like a fire hose. Whoever gets in front of me gets lost." He wasn't consciously going, "Arr, arr, arr." It's just empty. God power came through, which was transformative. All right, next one.
Questioner, so what are we to do? Maharaj, Investigate your world, apply your mind to it, examine it critically, scrutinize every idea about it. That will do. Questioner, the world is too big for investigation. All I know is that I am, the world is, the world troubles me, and I trouble the world. Maharaj, my experience is that everything is bliss, but this desire for bliss creates pain. Thus, bliss becomes the seed of pain. The entire universe of pain is born of desire. Give up the desire for pleasure, and you will not even know what is pain. Questioner, why should pleasure be the seed of pain? Maharaj, because for the sake of pleasure you are committing many sins, and the fruits of sin are suffering and death.
So what we need to understand, the fool thinks I'm unhappy because I don't have what I want, and therefore I crave it. And the yogi understands that it's the craving itself that is painful, which then gives them the insight. They develop the desire to be free from desire. The insight, not from some moral position. Deeply understanding that kama, craving, dukkha, they're the same thing. Going on.
Questioner, you say the world is of no use to us, only tribulation. I feel it cannot be so. God is not such a fool. The world seems to me a big enterprise for bringing the potential into action, matter into life, the unconscious into full awareness. To realize the supreme, we need the experience of the opposites. Just as for building a temple, we need stone and mortar, wood and iron, glass and tiles, so for making a man into a divine sage, a master of life and death, one needs the material of every experience. As a woman goes to the market, buys provisions for every sort, comes home, cooks, bakes, and feeds her Lord, so we bake ourselves nicely in the fire of life and feed our God. Maharaj, well, if you think so, act on it. Feed your God by all means. Questioner, a child goes to school and learns many things, which will be of no use to it later. But in the course of learning, it grows. So do we pass through experiences without number and forget them all. But in the meantime, we grow all the time. And what is a jnani but a man with a genius for reality? This world of mine cannot be an accident. It makes sense. There must be a plan behind it. My God has a plan. Maharaj, if the world is false, then the plan and its creator are also false. Questioner, again, you deny the world. There is no bridge between us. Maharaj, there is no need of a bridge. Your mistaken lies in your belief that you are born. You are never born, nor will you ever die, but you believe that you were born at a certain date and place and that a particular body is your own. Questioner, the world is I am. These are facts. Maharaj, why do you worry about the world before taking care of yourself? You want to save the world, don't you? Can you save the world before saving yourself? And what means being saved? Saved from what? From illusion. Salvation is to see things as they are. I really do not see myself related to anybody and anything, not even to a self, whatever that self may be. I remain forever undefined. I am within and beyond, intimate and unapproachable. Questioner, how did you come to it? Maharaj, by my trust in my guru. He told me, you alone are, and I did not doubt him. I was merely puzzling over it until I realized that it is absolutely true. Conviction by repetition? Oh, questioner, conviction by repetition? Maharaj, by self-realization, I found that I am conscious and happy absolutely and only by mistake. I thought I owed being consciousness bliss to the body and the world of bodies. Questioner, you are not a learned man. You have not read much, and what you read or heard did perhaps not contradict itself. I am fairly well educated and have read a lot, and I found that books and teachers contradict each other hopelessly. Hence, whatever I read or hear, I take it in a state of doubt. It may be so, it may not be so, is my first reaction. And as my mind is unable to decide what is true and what is not true, I am left high and dry with my doubts. In yoga, a doubting mind is at a tremendous disadvantage.
Oh, I disagree. A doubting mind is the best thing. Doubt everything in this world and find out what is absolutely certain. Only I is certain. Do I know with certainty? Let's see what Maharaj says.
Maharaj, I am glad to hear it, but my guru too taught me to doubt everything and absolutely. He said, deny existence to everything except yourself. Through desire, you have created the world with its pains and pleasures. Questioner, must it be painful? Maharaj, what else? By its very nature, pleasure is limited and transitory. Out of pain, desire is born. In pain, it seeks fulfillment, and it ends in the pain of frustration and despair. Pain is the background of pleasure. All seeking of pleasure is born in pain and ends in pain. Questioner, all you say is clear to me, but when some physical or mental trouble comes, my mind goes dull and gray, or seeks frantically for relief. Maharaj, what does it matter? It is the mind that is dull or restless, not you. Look, all kinds of things happen in this room. Do I cause them to happen? They just happen. So it is with you. The role of destiny unfolds itself and actualizes the inevitable. You cannot change the course of events, but you can change your attitude. And what really matters is the attitude and not the bare event. The world is the abode of desires and fears. You cannot find peace in it. For peace, you must go beyond the world. The root cause of the world is self-love. Because of it, we seek pleasure and avoid pain. Replace self-love by love of the self, and the picture changes. Brahma, the creator, is the sum total of all desires. The world is the instrument for their fulfillment. The souls take whatever pleasure they desire and pay for them in tears. Time squares all accounts. The law of balance reigns supreme. Questioner.
Okay, we'll stop there.
There's only two.
Oh, let's finish.
We're almost done. Questioner, to be a Superman, one must be a man first. Manhood is the fruit of innumerable experiences. Desire drives to experience. Hence, at its own time and level, desire is right. Maharaj. All this is true in a way, but a day comes when you have amassed enough and must begin to build. Then some sorting out and discarding, viveka and vairagya, are absolutely necessary. Everything must be scrutinized and unnecessarily ruthlessly destroyed. Believe me, there cannot be too much destruction, for in reality, nothing is of value. Be passionately dispassionate. That is all. That's the end of chapter 23.
Oh, very good. All right, thank you all.
Thank you. How many people were online?
I don't know.
Okay.